powerful Jedi was he. Powerful Jedi.
Oh, come on.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Midichlorian Experience. Today we will be exploring Anakin Skywalker and why he went on to serve the Empire after having been a Jedi in service of the Republic. Anakin's drive to serve the Empire comes from his upbringing as a slave on Tatooine. Growing up on the remote, backwater, lawless planet of Tatooine, just like his own son later would, Anakin was cut off from the expanse of the more civilized parts of the galaxy.
Well, if there's a bright center to the universe, you're on the planet that it's farthest from.
After winning the boon to Eve, Anakin is freed from his bonds of slavery and brought to Coruscant, the capital planet of the Galactic Republic. He would also later see the beautiful planet of Naboo, teeming with green plant life, bodies of water, and beautiful countryside. Becoming a Jedi and going on missions in service to the Republic, Anakin comes to appreciate the stability and order that a strong government can provide. This sits in stark contrast to the lawless planet Anakin comes from, where slavery is allowed and the mobster with the strongest fist rules the land.
I can't believe there's still slavery in the galaxy. The Republic's anti-slavery laws are...
The Republic doesn't exist out here.
When Anakin and Obi-Wan talk politics in Padme's apartment, we see the contrast between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Anakin defends the Republic and sees it for the ideals it stands for, justifying its existence, structure, and stability despite its pitfalls of bureaucracy and corruption. We see more of Anakin's thoughts on the matter when he is having a picnic with Padme on Naboo discussing politics. Anakin, despite his work as an agent for the Republic, is a bit idealistic and naive toward the inner workings of its political structure, and his idealistic thinking shows itself in justifying the existence of an authoritarian regime so long as it is able to provide peace, stability, and justice for its people. He even hints that the idealistic vision of such a world is enough to justify bloodshed.
The trouble is that people don't always agree.
Well, then they should be made to.
Anakin's desire to bring peace, security, and stability that he never knew as a young slave on Tatooine becomes more apparent during his service in the Clone Wars, as he fights to raise the flag of the Republic on numerous planets across the galaxy. Anakin's morals are shown to be a bit flexible during this time, as he is willing to forfeit freedoms to the centralized executive branch in exchange for security, sacrificing the principles of the Republic in the name of the Republic.
The Senate is expected to vote more executive powers to the Chancellor today.
Well, that can only mean less deliberating and more action. Is that bad? It will make it easier for us to end this war.
Anakin makes his turn to evil after aiding in the murder of Master Windu, and mounts his attack on the Jedi Temple during Operation Nightfall. Palpatine has been spinning the idea to Anakin that the Jedi are against the very Republic they have been serving.
The Jedi Council want control of the Republic. They're planning to betray me.
I know they don't trust you.
Or the Senate. Or the Republic. Or democracy, for that matter.
Having accepted the idea that the Jedi are traitors to the very Republic that Anakin has come to love and fight for, only furthers his descent to the dark side. He even justifies himself to Padme with his rationalization for his dark deeds.
The Jedi have tried to overthrow the Republic.
I can't believe that.
I saw Master Windu attempt to assassinate the Chancellor myself.
The Republic and his desire to save Padme both sit at the center of his motivations. Some say that Anakin's turn to the dark side was too fast to be believable, but this turn has been built up from the very beginning. Anakin was viewed with distrust when he first arrived at the Jedi Temple.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
He is adopted by the Jedi, but only out of obligation to Qui-Gon, and the Council is critical of Anakin and trying to bring down his ego and tell him how he needs to be better. Palpatine, in turn, masterfully manipulates Anakin to inflate his ego, which works to build up Anakin's love for Palpatine while simultaneously making him resentful towards the Council.
It's upsetting to me to see that the Council doesn't seem to fully appreciate your talents.
You don't need guidance, Anakin. In time, you will learn to trust your feelings. Then you will be invincible. I have said it many times. You are the most gifted Jedi I have ever met. I see you becoming the greatest of all the Jedi, Anakin. Even more powerful than Master Yoda. They need you. More than you know.
Anakin is also aware that he could be even stronger given his unprecedented potential in the Force. but is being held back and isn't given respect, making him resent the Jedi he had once idealized as a child.
His life has become more complicated, and this all culminates into an anger, compounded by changing relationships with both Palpatine and Obi-Wan. I mean, he begins to question the Jedi as a whole, but especially Obi-Wan.
While Qui-Gon is a true Jedi who discounts the will of the Council in favor of the will of the Force, his apprentice Obi-Wan has always been a textbook Jedi and ends up trying to fit an unconventional student like Anakin into that same box.
Do not defy the Council, Master, not again.
I shall do what I must, Obi-Wan.
Anakin, don't do anything without first consulting either myself or the Council.
Yes, Master.
Anakin would have flourished more under the tutelage of Qui-Gon, who could have provided a more flexible approach to his training. Anakin was a unique case, requiring a more unique training approach. Anakin was also suspected to be the chosen one, and would have had a lot of pressure on his shoulders to be that ideal Jedi.
Remember, Obi-Wan, if the prophecy is true, your apprentice is the only one who can bring the Force back into balance.
And we see Anakin struggling to live up to this burden, while at the same time grappling with his very human flaws.
You're not all-powerful.
Well, I should be. I wasn't strong enough to save you, Mom.
To be angry is to be human.
I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this.
The transition makes sense seeing as Anakin has grown up in the Jedi Temple during their decadent period. The prequel Jedi Order's inordinate fear of the dark side has led them to not teach their students about the dark side beyond platitudes about how it can take control of your life. The Jedi in this period prefer to impress upon their students to avoid temptation rather than to learn to resist it. Anakin, with no knowledge of the workings of the dark side, is told by a master of the dark side that he must be strong to gain power to save Padme. He knows from personal experience how using the dark side grants him power, and that he felt that power when he was doing bad things and giving in to his aggressive instincts. A living Sith Lord tells him he needs to do evil things to gain dark side power. Without any hard knowledge to refute this claim, Anakin, trying to be efficient, does the most evil things he can think of to gain the power he seeks as quickly as possible. Gritting his teeth and getting through the betrayal as quickly as he can, he takes no joy in what he does, but sees it as necessary to gain power to save Padme and to protect the Republic. Anakin rationalizes all of this to himself that he is doing this for the right reasons, but there is always that little part of him in the back saying, "What am I doing?"
There's always this good in you at this point. The good part is saying, "What am I doing?" And the bad part is saying, "I'm doing this for Padme, I'm doing this for us, and it'll be better for the universe, it'll be better for everybody." But there's always this little part in you is saying, "What am I doing?" And so then you're very strong on that. It's almost said with a little bit of anger, a tinge of, I will, determination and anger. I will not betray the Republic. My loyalties. So you're turning on, but it's like I will not betray the Republic. That's your rationalization for everything you've done. Nobody who's evil thinks of themselves as evil. They always believe they're doing good, even though they're not. And so it's a matter of how does a person who is good turn to becoming an evil person.
I will not betray the Republic. My loyalties lie with the Chancellor, and with the Senate, and with you.
In my video on why the Jedi aren't allowed to love, I talked about the dangers of blindly following passion, and of Anakin's desire to save Padme coming from his fear of being in pain, like he was after the death of his mother. I will link that video above. Anakin feels betrayed by the Jedi, betrayed by Obi-Wan, and betrayed by Padme.
The Jedi turned against me. Don't you turn against me?
The events of the past few days create an extreme emotional imbalance in Anakin as he engages his former master in their epic duel. When he is left a burnt husk of a man with severely diminished power in the Force and all alone, he returns to the only other aspect of his life that he knew, the Republic, which is now the Empire. Anakin's description of the most effective system back in Episode 2 has now come to pass, a system that can bring order and stability to the galaxy. And so he sets out to do just that, serving the Empire loyally as the Emperor's right-hand man, and even resuming his position as a commanding officer in the Navy. Palpatine even manipulates Anakin to think that he himself killed Padme. Anakin, almost like Bruce Wayne using the mask of Batman, hides behind the face of Vader, further dissociating from his tragic life of Anakin Skywalker.
That name no longer has any meaning for me.
Anakin's experience as a slave shaped his worldview such that he saw the need for a strong, authority-wielding government. He placed his faith in the Republic and ignored the corruption because he saw its ideals as being worth more than its downsides. This is part of Lucas's artistic vision, where he showed us that freedom isn't taken by force, it is freely given away.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Anakin fought a galaxy-spanning war to preserve the Republic's dominion, and when he lost faith in the Jedi, he put it back into the Republic and the Chancellor. This loyalty, coupled with his loneliness and isolation after his injuries, left him with little else in his life but to continue to serve the regime he once did. For 2 decades, this is the only thing Vader has to live for anymore, as he trains to get accustomed to the suit and regain his presence in the Force. Vader lost his old life, his friends, and his loving wife and unborn child. With his potential in the Force reduced by 60% due to his injuries and his new maximum power capped at 80% of the Emperor's, he knew he could never challenge him for supremacy and became resigned to serving as the Emperor's enforcer. It is only upon discovering he has a son, a final connection to the man he once was, that he begins to question the rationalizations he has given himself for so long and is finally convinced to step up and do the right thing. Vader, like Dooku, unwittingly plays into his own downfall under the delusion that he won't be replaced, being told all along that it will be him, the Emperor, and his son all together.
If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
Only together can we turn him to the dark side of the Force. Soon the rebellion will be crushed and young Skywalker will be one of us.
But then, like Dooku, he is cast aside for a younger and more powerful apprentice. Realizing he has been deceived, used, and discarded just like the slave he thought he'd left behind as a child, and seeing the love extended by his son and the steadfast determination to be a Jedi like his father, snaps him out of his trance. Vader could finally break free and do the right thing. He is the Jedi who returns, putting aside Darth Vader and rising as Anakin Skywalker, to destroy the Sith Order and bring balance to the Force by eliminating the dark side. If you like what I had to say, click the like button down below, subscribe for more of my content, which will be coming soon, and if you want to receive a notification when that will be, hit the bell icon down below so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you all next time. May the Force be with you.